Bet you're wondering what I'm doing with my eyes shut while I go on camera. And today I'm talking about stress. And so, one of the ways to really deal with stress is to give yourself little breaks. That's what I was doing when I got on the camera. I'm Dr. Shiroko Sokitch. I'm the owner of Heart to Heart Medical Center and the author of the book, Healing When It Seems Impossible, 7 Keys to Defy the Odds. And it's right there for you to see. So today I'm talking about stress and what are the symptoms that we can get from stress. And of course, almost every chronic disease, almost every symptom that you have in your body is somehow related to stress and how we deal with our emotions. So really, stress is a much bigger conversation. It's really about learning to deal with your emotions and what to do with them when they start to feel overwhelming, like an everyday sort of experience of feeling like you're overwhelmed or like you can't handle what is happening in the day. So my first suggestion is actually for you to, like I used to be an emergency room doctor, and during the times when the ER got really, really, really busy, we would be running from room to room to room. And one of the things that helped me during times like that where I was running from room to room or having a lot of things to do is two main things. One is focusing on the one thing that is right there already for me to do. So like focusing on what is to be done in the moment. So always having one moment focus. The second is giving myself little mental breaks where I would step away from a problem so that my mind could organize itself. So that like if somebody was presented with a difficult health issue, I would kind of just step away and let my mind process the information and review all the data and stuff like that, and then come back to it. Now, of course, when you're running from room to room, there were times when I would see 60 patients in one day. I would obviously not have a lot of time to step away, but every single time I did that, it gave me a little bit of a break, which allowed me to be able to focus on the problem so that I could come back to it and handle the situation. So for a person who's in a really busy time frame, that's one great way to manage stress. Now, the second thing, and everybody talks about this, of course, is to take a deep breath. But I recently had this experience of somebody told me that most of your lungs, which of course I learned in medical school, but most of your lungs is in your back. It's right back here. And your lungs in your front and at the diaphragm, which is quite a bit higher. So you have about 1/3 of your lung capacity that is in the back. So one way to manage stress or to sort of give yourself a gap is to breathe into your back. And it's really interesting what happens when you do it. You just take a big deep breath and imagine it going down your back. What happens is that your posture straightens up, your shoulders start to sit in the right place, and you just feel overall more relaxed. And it's this really incredible, like watch me, of course I'm modeling this for you, but just sitting there and taking a big deep breath and letting it go down into my back muscles and then letting it out. And I don't know about you, but for years, they always taught me about belly breathing, and I never really felt relaxed when I did belly breathing. But breathing into the back has really made a difference for myself. Now, there are many, 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 many ways of dealing with stress, but I'm just going to teach you a few things that maybe are a little different. So another thing that you can do when you have a stressful moment is, again, take a big deep breath and relax your body. But another thing that you can do, let's say that the stress feels just overwhelming and you cannot manage in that moment. So the next thing that you can do is give yourself a hug like this and take a big deep breath. And all of these things just take 1 or 2 seconds and could change the direction of your day. You can breathe into your back, give yourself a big hug, And these are acupuncture points that actually help you connect to your higher self. So the points on the outer parts of your shoulders here, they're called window of the sky points. And so they help you connect to your higher self, which can be very, very effective when you're trying to deal with stress. Excuse me. And another thing, here's another little stress managing tip. Let's say you have a lot of thinking to do, a lot of, you got to process a lot of information or a lot of thinking. What you can do is rub your hands together like this. Get them really good and hot. And again, this just takes a few seconds. And then put your palms, the center of your palms, on your eyes like that. So like there's a little cup over your eyes. And again, take a couple of deep breaths. It feels so good, I didn't want to stop. So there's like a couple of little simple things that you can do to de-stress in a busy day where you could just give yourself a little break. There's one other little hint that I'm going to give you that one of my friends, and I'm going to mention her here so that she can, that you can follow her. Her name's Deborah Myers. And she does something called Jinshin Jitsu, and she has these 9 things that you can do to move energy in your body in order to be calm and cool and collected. And she teaches this all over, and it's really, really helpful. But one of the things from her thing is called jumper cables, and that is where you hold your finger like this, and you hold each finger for just 1 or 2 seconds like that. And again, it's another way of calming down. So the key when you're super, super stressed is to create gaps in the moment where you can just, again, focus in and be present. So that whatever it is you're doing, whatever it is you're experiencing, if you can just focus in on the moment or take a little break from that moment of intensity, then you can come back to it. Excuse me again. And then you can come back to it and revisit the situation. So those are all of my, or some of my suggestions for today, and I hope you found them helpful. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments or leave any comments that you'd like to leave. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you so much.